Oh, oh, are we live? What is going on? What is the face I'm making? I think pop out chat. Haha. Okay, so this is exciting. I don't think anyone's here yet, so I think I'm talking to the air. But I've got a teleprompter now, as I've mentioned a number of times. How's my audio? Yeah, okay. Audio's looking good. I've got a teleprompter now, which is where my camera is. So I've got that hooked up to my laptop. Um, so I can actually just see the YouTube chat or the stream chat like as I look at the camera. So you're not gonna get me doing this talking to chat anymore. I should probably though check on people. I skipped last week for some personal matters. So I get the feeling many people will not be present, assuming. Uh, yeah. Hello, hello. How's it going? Hey, Tim. How are you? I will be working as always. Excellent. um, yes, I have been away, but I'm back. Today's going to be a shorter stream. How are you liking the Zima board so far? Uh, really awesome. The Zima board has been fantastic. Unfortunately, last week I didn't really do a lot. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking this week, probably on the weekend, I'll be putting out my first Zima board video. But like starting to get the feeling that I will just like the Zima board is gonna be how I do a lot of my home labbing or my self-hosting. As you all know, if you've seen my videos, I like to separate the concepts of home labbing and self-hosting. So I think what I'll be doing is using the Zima setup as my self-hosting box. Let's call it like production. So that's I think I'll be migrating my NAS for Jellyfin and for doing my editing and recording because I edit and record straight off the NAS, which has been wonderful. Um, and I will be continuing that strategy, I think, on the Zima board because it's just been fantastic. Yeah. Hey Dixie, how you doing? Yeah, I'm not sure yet exactly what we're doing today. Honestly, I kind of just walked in without a plan. We're also doing a shorter stream today. Um, but yeah, I don't know what else to do with Image yet because we've basically got it in a state I'm happy with. But if you've got some suggestions, let me know. I haven't really thought up what we'll do. Um, it's yeah, full disclaimer, I guess. I don't know how to talk about these sorts of things. There's just like a death in the family. My grandfather passed away last week, which is why I haven't been doing anything productive. And so I haven't been working. I haven't really been thinking very much at all. Just sort of like dealing with it. And now I'm trying to ease my way back into stuff. He was a very important figure in my life. Very proud of him and to be his grandson. So it was quite a bit. Sorry if that's it's a lot to be sharing on stream, but I don't know how to talk about these sorts of things and how to express, hey, I'll be taking a break and whatnot with the community. Um, except just to say it as it is. So that's what I'm doing with you all. I hope that's all right. I hope I haven't. I hope that's not too uncomfortable or anything. I'm doing all right, so we're okay here. But yeah, that's why I haven't been up to much, um, other than handling that. But today we will be. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the condolences. Um, yeah, today we're just gonna poke about with Zima some more. I haven't figured out what we're gonna do. I think we'll just spend some time chatting and exploring Zima OS a little bit more, looking at some of its features, maybe taking a look at backups. I'm not really sure. Maybe exploring some other stuff. I would love to play around with book lore some more. We've tried that. Um, so yeah, we'll play around some more with all that and have a good time. In the meantime, what have I been up to? I did manage to read. Actually, I'd like to just spend some time chatting with you all because that's always, one of my favorite parts of the stream. So I'll be right back. That's red word. Oh, hold on. There we go. I need to turn on. I have I have a tool on my Mac. That's my laptop, by the way. That I use called Caffeine that keeps my monitor alive when there's no activity. Um, and that's super helpful for situations like this. Okay, so let's see what we got. Where's chat? Dayloop says star tomato star, which I love as an emoji combo, but I'm unsure what it means. um, just take the time you need. Thank you very much. You low key look like the Asian version of my friend. Well, I'm sure you have a very handsome friend then. Ah. um, Ravine asks, out of curiosity, do you know how much power the ZimaBoard draws? I've been self-hosting with like 7-year-old components and draw 90 watts on idle. So I was thinking of separating the NAS and surfaces to lower. Okay, yeah. So this is one of the things I love about the ZimaBoard too, right? So it's running the N150 processor, which is like the successor to the N100, which was a dream, right? The N100 was this delightful Intel processor running, which is a weird thing to say, by the way. Delightful Intel processor in the year 2026 is just a weird sentence, right? But it really is. They've knocked it out of the park with this line of only their economy cores. So Intel architecture separates out performance cores and efficiency cores. That's the word, not economy. So this is a processor built exclusively off of the efficiency cores. All that to say, the N100 ran at 6 watts idle, which is just awesome. Like, just so cool. And the N150, I think, is at least in the ballpark. Now, it does push up to about 10 watts, and then when you add in the two drives that I've got on the ZimaBoard to make it an AS, you're adding whatever spinning rust costs. I don't know why people call drives spinning rust. It's fun though, so I'm gonna say it. I don't know. Maybe they rust. Either way, yeah. Anyways, either way, yeah, 10 watts is sick. Now, take into account, right? You are gonna need wattage for the drives, right? But that's still wicked. Like 10 watts, 10 watts is crazy. And here's the thing. With the N150, you can run Jellyfin like multiple transcoded 4K HDR streams. So if you're running Jellyfin not just for you but for friends, right? Or maybe it's for your household or whatever, you can run multiple streams and still have a little bit of room for Home Assistant and some other stuff. Media is iron oxide, or it used to be anyway. Thanks, Dad. That's good. I figured it was like it had to be iron related, right? That would make sense because it is magnetic, right? Because that's how you do the data, right? So I guess that makes sense. Um, Fresh sparkling tomato, nothing else. I see. Well, we do love tomatoes. So yeah, that's the deal. I think like yeah, I'm just baffled honestly with Zima OS. I think it's just a great device. Great operating system and stuff. On the other tangent, Dixie asks, not Arch, by the way. Um, my laptop is a MacBook, and then my main sort of computer for home labbing is is Linux. That's the Arch machine. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do that though. We'll see. I do like it for writing code, doing home labbing, all of that jazz. But I may move my creative work, like editing videos and stuff, like onto the Mac, because I have been having increasing issues with DaVinci Resolve on Linux. Well, I've been having increasing issues with DaVinci Resolve. I don't know if that's a Linux issue or a DaVinci Resolve issue or some combination of the two. What I want to do is just like see how DaVinci Resolve works on my MacBook and see and if it works better, then we can make an attribution here that this is a DaVinci Resolve on Linux issue. Or we find out, oh, okay, actually, it's not better, and there's no difference, and then I can just continue on Linux. But this is why I'm an advocate for having a little bit of everything in your situation. Like running some BSD boxes, running a Mac, running a Windows machine. Although these days that's getting harder and harder to justify. Running multiple Linux boxes, I think that's just a reasonable thing to do. Like you can't know the affordances of any system unless you contrast them against other systems, right? So I think that's important. My dad likes to point out a lot that like Steve Wozniak, the real brains behind Apple, ran one of everything, right? Because he was just a lover of technology. So yeah, I think that's an important thing to do. I say this because often when I bring up like I have a Mac and things like that, people are like, wait a second, isn't this the Linux guy? I'm like, I don't know if I'd call myself the Linux guy. I'm somebody who really likes Linux and frequently uses it, but I like technology more, right? Like the breadth of technology, and I like to explore as much of it as I can. Freddie W says, surely there's something to be said about attention economy in conjunction with putting the stream on as a comforting background noise. Yeah, yeah, probably. Um, I'm not going to judge you for it because it works out great for me. And if you're getting a kick out of it, then it is what it is. Like, I did my 50-day digital declutter, right? And a lot of those habits have carried over into my life. But I put on background music now. Again, I put on podcasts sometimes, um, on transit and things like that. There are times when yes, I think sitting in silence and sitting with your thoughts is important. But I don't know if I need to be like a monk about it. Like there's been some serious improvements, but we can't be too stressed. At the end of the day, have fun. Okay, so I'm already liking this teleprompter thing. I'm just here for the parasocial relations. Ah, heck yeah. Piercing XX says DaVinci Resolve and Arch are not friends. If you're not happy with the tinkering, don't go with a rolling distro. Yes, agreed. That is, yeah. So the thing is, this is tough, right? And this is one of the reasons I like to split self-hosting and home labbing, because self-hosting I think of as production, and you do not tinker in production. That's a bad plan, right? That's a great way to have a terrible weekend because you want to watch the movies on your Jellyfin, and Jellyfin is down because you put it on like Kubernetes and you don't really know how Kubernetes works. This happens to me all the time, and now you're frustrated because it's Saturday night. You want to do the thing that you want to relax, and nope, sorry, you have to fix a home labbing issue. Same thing goes with, I love tinkering with Linux. Like it's really, really fun. However, when I want to put out a YouTube video and I've got, 4 hours of recording and 4 hours of editing ahead of me, not to mention the 2 to 4 hours of script writing prior to that, I don't want to deal with my NAS didn't mount properly. Or, I don't really, like, I'm not very comfortable with Btrfs yet. And, I'm out of drive space because there's a billion snapshots because I've been updating and all of that jazz. So I would love this is one of those things. If I had all the time in the world, I would have an Arch Linux box just for tinkering and having fun with, and um, I would have like a stable Debian or Ubuntu or Fedora. There's a lot of options that I would look to. I hesitate for pop. I hesitate for Ubuntu. You know, canonical being canonical and all that. Um, Debian or even CentOS may be your speed. Yes, I mean I run Debian on most of my things. I I run this like I've been doing the Omarchi setup for a while because it was flashy and new and fun. I like tiling window managers and all of that, but admittedly they are not. They tend not to be anywhere near as stable as I'd like them to be. The challenges. Um, I've tried running a Debian system as my desktop. I've also tried Debian testing as a desktop. Both have pros and cons. Obviously, love the stability of Debian, but there are times when I'm like, man, I would really like some newer packages. And I tried Debian testing, and you're sitting there and you're like, often you get these issues where, oh, I want to use Terraform. Terraform's package is set to Debian stable. And then you try to install Terraform, and Terraform, while you're on Debian testing, and then Terraform expects Debian stable packages. So you have to come up with some workaround, and I tend to be averse to solutions that work around the package manager because one of the best features, I mean, the Debian sysadmin handbook is like, don't work around the package manager. That's a great way to break Debian. Debian is stable as long as you work within the confines of Debian as it's intended to be used. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. So, anyways, these are my rants. It's been a while since I've been like deep in the Linux headspace, but yeah. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts. Thanks for listening to them. Let's start poking about. Let's play with Zima OS a little bit. So let me do this, and then we're gonna go boom, um, and then where did I put my what? Oh, sick! It just remembers. Love that. What was my username? Probably just Nathan. Probably this. No. Do I have something in Bitwarden? I'm gonna pop this over to not this screen so that just in case, I would love if my Bitwarden password manager wasn't. Oh, it's case sensitive. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't want my Bitwarden package manager to or password to get leaked. That would suck terribly. Okay. Um, so this whole time we've still been running Home Assistant OS in the VM. This is one of the major drawbacks right now is Home Assistant, or sorry, Zima's virtual machine thing doesn't have a solution in the GUI for um, passing USB, passing devices through. It doesn't have device pass through. There we go. At least not in the GUI. You can obviously work around that. But I don't want to have to in such a beautiful client. So I'm really looking forward to them working on this. It's on their GitHub issues, so I assume they will get around to it. What are we doing? Oh, cool. Right. So one of the nice things about Zima OS, when you buy the Zima board, you do get their Zima OS Plus license. Um, I I suppose the plus is just what do you get? That's lovely. Really, the only thing you're limited to is number of disks and members. So you could go Zima OS free and really never need this. I also so here's a take I have about these kinds of things. So Zima OS has a license, right? And you pay for that license. Now, many people will be like, wait a second. Why am I paying for this when I could use, I don't know, any other like Open Media Vault or something like this, or TrueNAS Scale. My personal stance, you get plus. What more do you want? Yeah, it comes for free, right? Um, uh, when what was I saying? My brain has gone foggy. Yes. I have no qualms paying for good software, especially with something like a lifetime license, right? Lifetime license to me, especially at such a reasonable price, 29 US dollars, and their free version is not at all lacking in features, right? As far as I'm concerned. Um, that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to pay for software if I get to support developers doing good stuff, right? So that's a stance that I take. I know people are like, there are people who are like, all software should be free, and fair enough. This is just my stance. Let's do this. Wait, where's my webcam? Oh, that's terrifying. Hold on, gang. My webcam's being wonky. Okay, we're just gonna do this, and I'll just peer over at you guys over there. Okay, so you can all see what I'm working on. Um, what else can we do here? What's under? I just want to poke about today. Like I'm not super. We only have an hour here. We're just gonna sort of explore. Turn off Samba service to save some system resources. No, we obviously want Samba. Hmm. What is Zima AI search? Let's poke about that. It sounds like it's on device, which is the way that I would prefer this, of course. Um, Real-time detection of file system changes, file naming index, file content indexing, asynchronous batch processing, intelligent index layer. Oh, four-dimensional combined search, full text search, file name fuzzy matching, file name exact matching, semantic search. Currently supports images only. What? Okay. Knowledge base management. Quickly locate documents. Search for images, videos by content. Huh. Okay, well, this is cool. I want to know about this. Okay, so I was worried, you see AI and you're like, whoa. you Usually I'm a little skeptical when I see AI involved in anything, right? Um, so I saw that and immediately I was like, I don't want this on, just in case. But this looks like this is on device, which is what we want, and it supports better searching. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy about that actually. Okay. Zachary says, if you could put DaVinci Resolve in a Docker container, would that solve the issue? I use DaVinci Resolve a lot and I'm exploring Docker development, wondering if it can help solve some problems. Um, Maybe. Um, hmm. I mean, I tend to be wary of adding layers of complexity. So like, because I've worked with a lot of systems where like I introduce complexity to solve a problem, and then that spawns six new problems, and then I have an extra layer of complexity through which I have to debug. And so I tend to avoid these things. Like throwing it in a Docker container sounds like it might solve some problems, but then you're like, well, maybe there's like weird performance bottlenecks, and how do I get the GPU to it? And I know we could do some sort of like, you can probably mount dev. What would it be? I don't know. You can probably mount the device, or at least share it somehow. That probably works, and then there's NFS, but somewhere along the way, I know there's going to be weirdo complications. I just got a feeling. Okay, as long as it really is lifetime, seems to not be a guarantee these days. Agreed. Yes. Um, I would be shocked and very disappointed if their lifetime license ended up not being a lifetime license, and at that point, I would probably, I would be vocal about that. Um, okay, we're gonna try this and see what happens. So I'm turning on search index, and we're seeing if we get a bump here. Got a slight one. There's not a lot of files on here, so I guess. Oh, Oh, look at that. We all seeing that? That's the Linux experience. It is indeed. Okay. Mm, right. So we tried Peer Drop a little while ago. Um, and that didn't work super great in all honesty. I think we did get it working in the end. But it was a little finicky. Let's try some new stuff. I want to look for book lore. Um, how do I search? Where's my search bar? There we go. Oh, we don't have it here. Unless, okay, so there's audio bookshelf, ebook auto downloader. Now, gang, that sounds illegal. It moved. What moved? Which one? Flame is a self-hosted start page for your server. How many self-hosted start pages are there? Oh, cool. Different libraries here. Official certified community. Cool. Because the thing that I liked about Booklore was it mixed Calibra, like the functionality I like about Calibra with Kavita. So Calibra Web is not what I would call the prettiest interface. Oh, unless I'm wrong. Maybe that's changed. But you also have to run Calibra and Calibra Web. It moved the CPU. Ah, yes, it did. You have to run Calibra and Calibra Web, and that's just more work than I like. However, when we look at Booklore, this guy, um, it's a great GUI, collects all your stuff really well, and it links to your Kobo, so you can use your Booklore setting as the Kobo store, which is really what I want. I'll definitely make a video about that when I get it set up. There's probably going to be a bunch of videos on just like, here's a cool self-hosted solution that I put together. So this might be one of those things where we have to add a thing. Cool. Okay. We would open ports, volumes. So this is not a bad GUI for setting up custom apps. Restart policy unless stopped. CPU shares, container capabilities, container name. Okay, well, let's mess about. So we can add, let's pull this over here, an image. Import. Ooh. Okay, hold on. So they've got this .env. I may have to do some copying of that. But what would happen if I do this? Okay, this is a cool thing to explore. We can just give this a shot then. Let's see what happens. In addition to the configuration recognized by the import, we also need the following information. Port and path to apps web UI, location of the directory file, the directory or file to be mounted. Okay. Port mapping from host to container, other optional configurations. Okay. What has happened? So I did this, and now I've got a blank screen. Let's try that feature one more time. Okay. So that looks maybe broken. I'm going to see, actually, let's see what happens. Because I have no way to hand it this .env, right? So I think we're probably better off just configuring this from scratch. The problem is we have, okay, now when we look at image, right? I don't want to open image. I want to take a look at its settings. You can see we've clearly got like a Docker Compose setting going on where each thing is configured this way, right? Each one of these is a container. Now Booklore is going to fail probably because it's misconfigured. Whoa, that CPU. Maybe we're crash looping. Yeah, we're just gonna stop this, and because it's definitely not, that's not gonna work. But we can try to create it, or maybe we can add a repository. Okay, we can take a look. Where would Booklore be? Um, quick deploy. What the heck? Oh, there we go. Deploy with Docker. Yeah. Open collective. Ah, that's cool. So I don't know. Docker repository. Because so basically right now we've got this repository. Oh, maybe let's check Zima OS. Zima, what even is this? Big Bear Tech World. This is like not news, not images. This is their repository of different like Docker setups, right? Big Bear Docker image, Big Bear Casa OS. Okay. Big Bear Umbrel. Huh. That's kind of cool. Sorry, I'm just exploring today. Huh. I wonder why these guys have all of these app stores. I think Umbrel had. Let's do Umbrel. Let's look for book. No? Ah, darn. Because what's our list? Big Bear Casa OS is the repository that we're using. So I'm just looking for one with Booklore. I'm maybe it's just very new. Hey, do you have a NAS? I'm struggling between thinking I could set one up myself or just buying something pre-built and nice. Also, thank you for sharing about Booklore. Looks nicer than Calibra. Agreed. Yes, I have two NASs. Let's take a look at them. So, the one I'm currently using, I was given by the Zima, Zima? Zima is the company. Zima Space, cool. They gave me their ZimaBoard 2 with some added goodies. Um, so and then I just got two hard drives and hooked it up. This thing rocks. I would put it on screen. Actually, let's see. Maybe I can do this. Ugh, my second camera still has power. Nice. Can I do no test test bench? Oh, my cameras are all wonky. Okay. What? Okay. Hold on. I need to mess with some of these things. I don't know what happened to my setup. Okay, webcam is appropriately attributed. Test desktop. No, it's not. This is test desktop. Webcam is something else. Why has this become that device? So test desktop should be this. Okay. Great. And then this should be this. Okay. Lovely. We fixed it. Sorry for the mess. So this is my Zima board. So this top part here, this is the Zima board. So it's actually quite small, right? Very thin, and it just mounts to this extra chassis, which holds the hard drives with a couple of screws. It's really quite nice. Um, I've been absolutely blown away. Um, and a couple of things, specs, as we've talked about earlier in the stream, N150 processor, so SIPs power, super efficient, but also very, very good. Two 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports, which is wonderful. Um, what else we got going on? Ooh, wait, let's get some extra light in here. Boom! My, am I a streamer or what? um, you got this PCI 3.0 slot, so you could actually put a graphics card on this. You would need external power, I'm pretty sure, but it's pretty sweet. So this is what I'm thinking of moving to for self-hosting in general. Um, that's great. I also have let's move this over. I'm also for what I was using prior to this and what I actually edit off of. Is this okay? Not that in particular, but I also run something a lot like this. Where's the one I want? Products. Maybe this? Nope. Something like this. You are such a streamer. Dude, I wish I was getting that bread. I am getting bucks at most. But I have fun. Yes. So I'm running something a lot like this. I know Plus, who's like a regular of the stream, is also running one of these. Um, Different CPU in mine. Mine has an N100, so the ZimaBoard beats it. But these little NASs have been coming down in price. Open source software has been getting a lot better, right? So you can run like TrueNAS Scale. You can run Open Media Vault. I've been really, really impressed with Zima OS, which is, as I understand it, mostly open source. It's built on Casa OS, which was entirely open source, and then they've expanded it some. So something worth considering. But yeah, super minimal. I'll look into that. That seems like might be good for small local data copies. It's pretty phenomenal for that. Oh, congratulations! If you are looking to pick up a ZimaBoard, I've got a referral code in the description of this thing, this stream. There we go. I got there. And you get like 15 bucks off. As full disclaimer, I get like 5% or something off of your purchase, which amounts to not a lot. So I wouldn't recommend it unless it were really good, because why would I erode your trust in me for $5? That doesn't seem like a good deal. Yeah, no, I am genuinely very impressed with this. Gordon Blasco asks, do you use the Ugreen software? I do not, because mine isn't actually Ugreen. It's just very similar in like its hardware composition. I haven't looked into the Ugreen software. I sound like a shill at this point, but like genuinely, I'm like, okay, this is my favorite part about the Zima software, and I would install it on anything I was like looking to use with a family, because the Zima client, which installs on iPhones and Android devices, makes backing up photos like wicked easy. And that's really my biggest concern right now. This is the problem I'm trying to solve, because my girlfriend is like, oh, I need to back up my photos. I have a lot. Snapchat wants to charge me $10 a month for like photo storage, and that's ridiculous. You know, like iCloud leaks happen all the time, as we're well aware as denizens of the internet. And it's like, this is not a good like solution. She wants something more private and reasonable, but also reliable, something that we won't lose our photos on, right? And so Zima Client just makes it wicked easy to back up your phone in a way that I don't have to check on. Every time she comes home, just the libraries, just the albums that she wants to back up will be backed up, and that's amazing. Snapchat is trying to be a cloud now. See, that's the thing. Snapchat was always a cloud. It just didn't tell you, right? Right? Like, it's storing photos, which is hilarious because the whole point of Snapchat was to not store photos, but now you've got memories, right? And so she's got like 1,000 photos on there, which is, you know, like something like 5 gigabytes of data, 10 gigabytes of data. And Snapchat's been storing all this data for years. it needs to make money somehow because data is like data storage is expensive. I don't think they're a bad company for wanting to store data. For admitting that they need to fund storing their data, right? Not that I mean I doubt Snapchat's like a beacon of privacy, but data storage costs money, and so now they're charging. Shocker. Really, the shocker is that it's taken this long, and so this is a problem I want to solve. Um, Zima makes that just wicked easy. So if I were to buy a Ugreen NAS, I like the hardware. Could I run Zima on it and treat that as the whole family server? Um, I think so. I think so. I don't have a Ugreen NAS that I've tested Zima OS on, so don't take this as my 100% stamp of approval. However, I successfully installed Zima OS in a virtual machine. I also installed something very similar. I installed Umbrella OS on like a little mini PC. I gestured this because it's about this big. um, that worked. So I assume so. I would love to, before I give you the full stamp of approval on moving forward that way, to install it on a mini PC just to make sure. So that might be something maybe we do next week just to make sure. If you're around for next week, we could give that a shot just to make sure it works. Um, yeah. So, but yes, this thing has been wicked, right? Here. So this is my experiment. This is what I'm trying to do is see if I can make Zima my full-time thing, right? Where did I put it? Ah, over here. So so we tried if you look at their app store, comes with a bunch of like great options, right? You've got Home Assistant in the Docker container. Now, I prefer to run Home Assistant as a VM, but that's been problematic with the Zima hardware. No, with the Zima software because they don't have a GUI for device pass through, so I can't pass like a Zigbee controller over yet. There's a workaround. There's like in the Git issues, somebody's been exploring this and they have a solution that works. We're hoping that sort of Zima fixes this, and I assume they will. They've got a pretty active development team. Um, so I assume that'll be up to par soon. Jellyfin works really well. We've been working on that. I haven't explored Nextcloud yet. Um, I would love to do Vault Warden, but because I'm using Bitwarden and Zima's VPN solution is quite nice actually. So they've got kind of like a built-in Tailscale type thing going on. I don't know the underlying mechanisms. I assume it's built on WireGuard because what isn't these days? Um, but yeah, I've been quite impressed. All right, let's what the heck is Wallabag? Sip and classify articles. What do I feel like Oh, cool. I didn't realize that was a separate container. See, I've always wondered about a lot of these things like this. Can you just install Booklore in a Docker? Maybe that's not the problem. I totally could. I think we started that, and then I got sidetracked. So, um, let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that. So it's not in their store. We could yes, and then I started looking for an alternative repository. So, but I'm not sure where to go looking for Docker for these like self-hosted repositories. I don't even know what these are called. Docker repository list. Like I'm looking for um, something like Big Bear Tech. This might be a decent usage of AI here because I'm not sure exactly what do we call Docker repositories like Big Bear Tech, Docker Compose libraries used by Zima OS. This is one of I find to be the best uses of LLMs is basically using it as semantic search. Docker compose library. Yeah, okay. Let's go looking for one of those then. No. Um, maybe Casa. I think Umbrel had this where they listed alternatives to their thing. So if we look over here, because what I want to do is give people a way to do the things that I'm doing very easily, right? I don't want people to have to build up a Docker Compose from scratch and deal all with that. Who would have guessed that large language models are great for language? Right? So often I feel the need to justify any LLM usage whatsoever because the internet is so hot about it, right? People love it or hate it. And you get these things where people are like, whoa, dude, why are you using an LLM at all? And it's like, well, okay, hold on. Am I robbing myself of a learning opportunity here? Am I robbing somebody of a creative opportunity or like a creative job and things like that? Um, my goal, my goal is to not do those things. So for the most part, my LLM usage is sort of confined to summarize this transcript I wrote so that I can see what the heck I said to myself. Things like that. Um, I like it for summaries. For sometimes I get it to quiz me. I love the application of LLMs for quizzing yourself. I think that's actually a really good and underrated application. So if you have a lot of notes, let's say you took a course recently and you want to prepare for an exam, the best way to study for exams is not to just read things over again. It's to be quizzed, right? Because when our minds get the data that certain information is actually useful for solving problems, it's more likely to remember it because, well, we're inherently problem solvers, and so that information becomes more useful, and is stored more rigorously in the brain. And so quizzing is really important, but it's difficult to like source quiz questions. But LLMs, if you feed them like good notes, are actually really good at generating quiz questions, and they won't go astray because you're doing retrieval stuff based on your own data, right? So it works well. People just forgot that LLMs are a tool. It has its usages. Exactly. Some people just overestimate what it can do. Also true. You wouldn't want to use a hammer as a saw. Yes, that's more or less my stance, right? So, anyways, um, does Umbrel have book lore? Ah, it does. Okay. So if we can get the Umbrel apps repo, then we're chilling. So maybe it's just as simple as this. And then we can go. The question, so we go to App Store and then we can say add a repository. And then I think we can just do this. Not a valid zip file. Zip file? Okay. Oh, awesome store list. Cool. A not so serious Kesso. Okay. Um, so the way this works is zip files. Interesting. But with updated versions. Oh, okay. I probably want that. Hmm. I mean, we could probably get the Umbrel thing as a zip, right? If we go to where's releases? Do they not have releases? I suppose that would make sense. Obviously, I'm surprised this doesn't work through connection to a Git. Latest.zip. Does this come with a zip? No. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? .zip? No? Darn. All right, well let's try just this repo here. See what happens. See what we gain access to. Build grounded AI from your data. Okay, so we have some more apps now. Let's see if Booklore isn't among them. Darn. Ah, darn. Okay, so what a strange way to do this. Hmm. Okay, we might just be able to do... Ah, right. I was going to try this import thing. Now, that didn't work very well last time. It does not work rootless. So we're missing this app data dir. Which must be retrieved. That must be like an Umbrel specific thing. So I assume this is going to fail. Oh, hey. Okay. So this actually imported much better. That's really cool. Hey, how you doing? So what is app proxy? Exactly. This is an image. I don't have a need for that, do I? Let's look at their compose. Services. Oh, app proxy. Interesting. I don't think I'll need that in mine. The question is, how do I get rid of it? Because I don't need this. It's imported. Yeah, because we'll just have app and DB. But this thing just isn't necessary. Well, I guess what we can do is re-import. So if we go add containerized application, and then we take this, import, Docker Compose, and then we remove the app proxy. This should work. Now, what is the most recent version of Booklore? How far behind are we if we use this? Because you never know. Where is their most recent release? 1.18.5. Okay, this isn't bad at all. These are fine. Like this, we'll adjust the volumes. I don't really care about MariaDB at all. And then we'll just need to adjust our app data dir. And then we should be okay. So let's give this a shot. Hey, Plus, how's it going? If it's third party, if it's the third try, it will work now. I think we might actually be coming up on the third try. Unfortunately, I'm going to be cutting stream short today. I've got some plans that I need to attend to, but so I don't have much longer. I will be wrapping this up soon. But you know, next stream will be back to normal. Let's do. I guess we can leave that as is, and we just need to adjust this. So on Zima, suppose we can go ZStore, which is where we're putting things. Okay. So what I might want to do here is let's just bring Zima up, not Zima space, but instead this, and go over to our files. This is Zima OS HD, but we want ZStore for everything. And now I can just do books, which is great. Data app, data books. So, and then we can also do new folder, let's say apps or app data, right? And then we can do new folder. What is this? Booklore? Yep. Okay. So we can go app data. App data is going to be ZStore app data, Booklore, bang. Books, ZStore, books. I think this might just work. Ah, close, 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 close. So we can go ZStore, app data, Booklore. Now, we probably want to separate these out. So we've got app data, Booklore, app slash data. So we're going to go probably data, Booklore data, and then we're going to go new folder database. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I didn't name that beautifully, but whatever. And I think this is just going to work, so we'll try it. There you go. I'm loving this new thingy. The teleprompter. This thing really does rock. I can just read right as I'm staring at the camera. Great addition to the setup. Okay, so we're gonna have to change the name of this. Web is not exactly what we want to call this. Booklore. Save. Okay. Interesting. Settings. Web. What's my port? Ah, I have no ports. No ports for web. That's why it didn't work. This makes sense. So host, I don't know. What do we want to, what is it currently on? Right. It had this proxy, right? So we're going to go 6060. The question is the web. What's the web port? Does it database URL? Doesn't really seem to know. I don't know. I think let's try that. And then let's take a look at the original. This is the Umbrel Docker Compose, which has that thing in front of it. Booklore port. Oh, it's got a little health check in the original. Okay. Well, let's try this. So yeah, it's still going to the wrong place, but let's try, well, what exactly is the right? So if I go to image 2283, so we're just going to go, I think I set it to 6060, and it opens up at Booklore. Needs a little, looks like it needs a little lovin', but it's closer. So settings, lovely. Oh, web UI. Yeah, that's correct. I think this might be the problem. This web UI thing on the MariaDB is set to 6060. I don't know, so we're just going to move that to 6061. If the Docker file is available too, check expose. But it's how they're named. Right, yes. No, that makes sense. If the Docker file is available too, yeah. Okay. Let's close this. So I don't have the Docker files in this part, but I can take a look. Let's look at Docker Hub. Okay. Let's look at the book lore. Here we go. I think this is, well, we'll see. 18 hours ago. Yeah, this is this is the one we want. Some tags. Well, I was on Booklore's Git, so they've probably got it. Yeah, there's the Docker file. What are we exposing? Whoops, expose. Come on now. Let's see if I can type. 80. Yeah. All right. So it might be that. It might be that I didn't set up the compose properly. Yeah, because we seem to be hanging here. So instead of the Umbrel one, I think what we should do is go from Booklore's Docker Compose. So let's just go ahead and uninstall. And so now we're on some version of it. Because yeah, last time we tried to copy paste this, we did not succeed. So we'll do some actual looking around with it first, because there's a lot of variables that we're going to have to change. You can see a lot of environment values. I'm guessing this just doesn't translate well. Something. Yeah. So let's see. Let's import again. Look for some of the differences between this. Is it just that it's... Where's Umbrel? Here. Oh, Umbrel just doesn't... Oh no, it uses environment here, but it doesn't use variables in the environment. Right? Because this is assuming we have an env. We have an env file. The original, yeah, this guy. So we're going to have to... Here, what we're going to do... Just throw this up here, just so that somebody used an LLM. Look at those emojis. So let's take a look at these things. Booklore port. And we're just going to have to, I think we're just going to have to sub these in. DB user and password. Database URL. Time zone. Sure. We're just going to leave this as is for now. Okay, so we've cleared these. Booklore port, which is 6060. And this is in quotations. Why? Whoops, close one. We're probably going to have to mess with the volumes. DB user ID. Right. Okay, let's grab this. That was close. MySQL, I overwrote this. Root password equals. We're just gonna grab, let's get rid of this. So let's see if this works. We've basically all we've done is get rid of all of the variables. Okay, so it actually imports properly this time. So, okay, using n variables just nukes the UI. It does not know what to do about it, which, fair enough. So now what we can do is do our setup. So we can go to, what did I select first? App data. I'm just going to go here, app data, booklore, data. We're going to go this one, ZStore books. I don't know what book drop is. So let's go books. Can I create a new one here? No. So what we'll do is store books, and I'm just going to put this in here. Book. Actually, that might mess with things. So for now, I don't like this. I don't like having books and book drop, but that's fine. Okay. These are all already set. This looks good. MariaDB does not look good. Oh, data, app data. Is that where I want that? No, I want this in here. App data, booklore, database. I think that's where I want that. So let's try this. If this doesn't work, I'm signing off anyways, because I got to get going. But we will be resuming regular scheduled programming later. Oh, hey. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? How much is a teleprompter? This little guy was about $250. So it's got a screen that connects to tablet, phone, or laptop. I've got it connected to my laptop right now via USB-C. I couldn't get Linux drivers working on it. Otherwise, I'd have it hooked up to my Linux PC. What are you going to do? But yeah, it's a little teleprompter, something like 12 inches or so. Enough for me, especially now that I've got my glasses back, to be able to read from this distance. So I'm actually quite happy. And it helps a lot. Like scripting my videos, I don't think has made them feel less natural. You guys can let me know, of course. But I think has led to better arguments, better clarity. Like the arguments seem to flow better because I actually write things beforehand. To be honest, a lot of my videos, almost all of my videos prior to January were not scripted. I usually just sat down in front of the computer and started talking, and I discovered what I was going to say as I said it. All right. This image. I mean, we have the logo. But in the past, we've been impatient, remember? So we might just need to wait for the container to spin back up or spin all the way up or something, right? Because if we use image, it also tells me not secure, so that's not a problem. Booklore, we're getting the logo. Failed to start. Okay, so we're crash looping based on this CPU, I'm guessing. Settings. I'm not sure exactly why. Please check compose app status. Yeah, I understand. So, tips, is there... No, that's open. What I would like, not widgets, is to go, I think I gotta go here. Developer mode. We might have to take a look at this later because I know there's a way to look at, I don't want that web terminal. I want the logs of all of my things. I wish logs was put right here, but I guess their assumption is that things work, which is fair. Maybe I'm thinking of Umbrel, which gave me a really easy way into the logs, like the Docker compose logs. Hey, how's it going? Remind me your OS. Yes, I'm using Omarchy, which is just Arch. Yes, Arch, by the way. Okay, gang. I do got to get going, unfortunately, but I will be back to regular length streams and regular scheduled programming starting next week. So, this has been fun. But yeah, the above link I put has a Docker compose that should just work here. Oh, okay, hold on. You don't have the rights to share links yet, so I'm just going to make you a mod, Kyle. Um, you've been here long enough. You're not going to blow anything up. Do you mind dropping that link again? Yeah, you have the privileges now. Wait, how can you easily get into the Docker and Compose logs on Umbrella OS? I remember there being a way. It was pretty cool. I think you could just like right click on them, and if you have like developer mode or something, you can just peer into the logs or somewhere in the settings maybe. CastOS support. Ah, lovely. Okay, this is great. Let me bring this up on my actual device over here. Let's see if we can spin this up before I gotta go. We're just gonna try the good old blind installeroo. Plus, how many installs did we go for this time? I think Omarchy is pronounced like anarchy. Dropping in to say hi before bed. Ah, hey Alex. Well, I hope you sleep well. Oh, interesting. I hope that doesn't stop it. Get HTTP blah blah blah. What we can do is just grab from a different source. So Docker image, we can just use this, right? And then we can do this for MariaDB. Now let's try that. Invalid reference format. No, it's not. Oh, wait, it changed it back. What the heck? What? Okay, one more time. So, what exactly changed here? All right, we're gonna have to give this a try next time because I do really gotta go. All right, I will catch you all. Oh, I was using whatever. I will catch you all next week. Sorry again for the short stream, but I will be back to regular things soon. So we'll keep playing around with Zima because it'll be a lot of fun to see what we can make it do. I'll be doing a little video on it this week. Should be up Saturday, I think. So we'll have the first touches at Zima in YouTube video format. And that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully they like me enough to keep working with me. All right. Bye, everyone.